Well, welcome back to the future home of Cottage Farmstead. We have quite a few things to update y'all on. There's been a lot of progress made. We've had some really wonderful fair weather that's been great for construction, especially the concrete work. So we thought we'd give you a tour around on what's happening over here at our house build.
First up, we have walls. It was amazing watching them put the forms up, and literally within a couple of days, they had concrete trucks out and filled the walls all the way up. They did anchor some brackets up top, that way we can put our sill plate, and we're going to go ahead and put 2 sill plates up top just to give us a little bit more height in the basement. That way they didn't have to customize the cement forms for the pour. So as you can see, this looks like a fortress. It's absolutely amazing. We decided to go with 9-foot poured walls. That way it gives us a little bit more height for the basement, especially for running our HVAC trunk lines, all of our water and electrical lines. It'll give us plenty of space without making it feel cramped down there. This is primarily going to be our root cellar in the basement and storage, so we're not necessarily going to insulate it that well because we want the coldness of the earth to naturally keep it cold for our root crops. It can be hard when you're at the point of pouring the walls to be thinking about plumbing necessarily, but it is important to do so. That way, if you're knowing you're going to have like a floor drain in your basement, go ahead and have them install some sort of a pipe to stub out underneath the footer. That's what we did here, and you can see this riser here. That's just so that we can spot where that pipe is stubbed out, and we can tie that into our drain. That way all that moisture is shedding away from the foundation, especially if you want that floor drain inside. And over here, you'll see a similar thing, except this is for our floor drain that is going to be for our stairway going down to our basement. We wanted to have exterior access to our basement, especially since, to begin with, our basement is going to be our primary storage location for our animal feed. That way it's dry, rodents can't get at it, and it's easy to access for our animals. So this drain is going to be for the floor drain underneath the steps leading down. That way any moisture that comes, because the land will be sloped towards the steps, that gets down in there is shed right away from the basement.
So here we have the retaining wall that's going to be going around our stairs. We originally were thinking maybe a walkout basement, but the land just didn't slope as steep enough as we needed to for that. So we have this retaining wall here, and we're going to have stairs going down into our basement. We made sure that the door is 36 inches wide so we can get things like freezers and things down in there in our food storage area. And when we were talking with the builder, he's trying to help us keep costs down on at least the initial build part, and so he recommended doing pressure treated stairs to get started to keep costs down instead of doing concrete stairs, as concrete stairs can be rather expensive. So he also placed the drain that Nathan just mentioned a minute ago right down inside here. So when it rains and water gets through the concrete on the outside here, it won't get into our foundation or into our basement.
And you can see it way in the background of our basement over there, some pipes above the ground. There are a couple of fixtures that we had put in. We wanted the accessibility to have a toilet and a shower eventually, and it's much easier to put the plumbing in now rather than later on. Otherwise you'd have to jackhammer that concrete floor, which is just a pain in the back. In addition to that, we put a sump pit. That way if any water happens to permeate through the walls, that is going to be the lowest part of the basement. The sump pump will be able to automatically pump it out for peace of mind. When you're putting in plumbing in a basement, there is an inspection. Thankfully we passed it, so we're all good to pour the floor, and then we will have a post-pour inspection as well. Since we have a basement plumbing with the toilet and the shower, we didn't have the fall of the land necessary to have this, the septic system at the right height just to have it drain out. So there is a solution for this, and for that solution we found just having a pump in the basement. That way all the water from both the toilet and the shower is pumped up to the main floor and is sent out at the grade level. That way we didn't have to dig down nearly as far with the septic system.
So right here you can see what was left on the concrete trucks when they came through here. They had a little bit left on here, and so they're just going to dump it somewhere. We kind of wish we knew that in advance. That's just something that we've learned along the way. And told them to put it in a different spot, maybe in front of our well house where we make it have a concrete pad, or at the end of our driveway where we come up and down. But right now they kind of stuck it, it's not the best location, so we're going to have to figure out how to move this out of the way later because we're wanting this to be our carport. We hope you enjoyed a quick tour and update of the progress of our farmhouse build. We're hoping this coming week, if the weather cooperates, we have some rain in the forecast. They'll get the slab poured for the basement floor. And then about a week, the delivery for the framing materials will be here. So there'll definitely be more to come. And fingers crossed we'll have a house by the end of the year.
Woo!